Hi, good morning everybody, and welcome to my channel, Greta's Pearls. My name is Greta, and here at Greta's Pearls, I like to come with you with everything health and beauty related. And so today, I'm hopping on here because we are just going to have a little discussion, and we're going to talk about things that I feel like need to be discussed, and I really hope that you come along for the ride. You have to excuse me this morning. My face is a bit swollen on this side. I did have oral surgery back on just a few days ago, and so it was a rough one. It was intended to just be a simple extraction. And the next thing I know, I'm awake and having oral surgery. Yay! Because the tooth did not want to come out. He ended up having to cut it out, and I just had simple numbing stuff. So it would have been so much better if I had been asleep during the procedure. Unfortunately, I was very much awake, and I took a lot of abuse. It was painful in the sense that, yes, the tooth was numb, but the rest of my face was not. So like all the pulling and prodding and trying to get to the very back of my mouth, and then just like the pressure, like literally my whole body, when I got done with this tooth being taken out, literally just I hurt so bad for a couple days. And so I do have some stitches back there that I am babying, and I am feeling somewhat better. So I did get up this morning and I did my makeup and I did my hair, just, to feel better. Sometimes we need to just give ourselves a little bit of self-love, just so that we feel like we're getting up and fighting with life and just continuing with our everyday struggles. And so that's actually why I come on here today, because I really just wanted to come on here and talk to the people that have been so kind as to watch my videos. I don't think you guys know how much it means to me. I literally started this channel 2 months ago, and I am up to 76 subscribers. Yay! So if you are one of my subscribers, I just want to tell you thank you so much. I so appreciate you subscribing to my channel and coming by and seeing what I have to say. If you would just put the word out and let people know about me, and maybe come by and watch, I'd really appreciate it. But please know how much it means to me that you've taken time and effort out of your own day and your own lives and busy schedules to come subscribe, like, comment, and watch little old big me. But yeah, so I just wanted to thank you guys, because it really does just mean the world to me. So as some of you have probably heard in watching some of my previous videos, I am 50 years old. I turned 50 back in March, so that makes me an Aries gal. Now, I do believe in astrology and tarot, and I think that you might have seen maybe some of my earlier videos where I did some angel card readings. I would like to actually do some more of those. If you guys like those and you want me to continue to do them, if you would just like drop me a comment and let me know, I would be more than glad to put some more of those out, and maybe even start to expand my repertoire a little bit more and do some other kinds of readings. But yeah, so there's that. And then I just have all my beauty things that I want to bring to you. I actually got a couple new products that I would really like to bring to your attention, and I'm going to show you what they are, how affordable they are, where I got them, and how I use them. So that way that if there's something that you would like to add to your daily routine, just to make you feel good, to make you feel special about yourself, because that's really what it's all about, guys. It's not about impressing anybody else. I think once you get to a certain age, you realize you really don't give a toot what anyone else has to think or say about you. What really comes down to being most important is how you feel about yourself, okay? You've got to love yourself. I mean, with all your flaws, all your imperfections, all your, I mean, we all have them. It's called being human. It's literally living the human experience. There is no such thing as perfection. Everybody has their own vessel that carries their own soul, that tells their own story, right? And so that's kind of why I'm on here, because I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story today. So that way you get a little more familiar with me, and feel free to drop in your comments where you're watching from, who you are, any kind of little tidbit of information that you would like me to know about you. I would love to know that, just because that way I can get to know my viewers and who they are and what it is that they're after when they come to view, because I would really like to bring you the things that you want to see. I really would. But I think it's so important that we talk one-on-one sometimes, so that way you just really get to know me on the human level, okay? So, like I said, my name is Greta, and I was born March 28th in the year of 74, and so that does make me 50 years old. And I am the mother of 3 wonderful children. I have 1 beautiful bonus daughter and 2 great kids. My daughters are both 23, and then my son is 20. So I was an empty nester as of the beginning of this year, and I thought it was going to be the worst thing ever, and in some ways it is. I can't lie. But then in some ways it's so freeing, because for the first time in my life, it feels like I kind of am living for me, and I'm really doing the things that I want to do and the things that I enjoy, and brings me a lot to my own vessel to fill it full, right? Because we're vessels. We're vessels that carry this miraculous spirits and energies and vibes inside of us. And it's up to us as to what we want to put out into the world, right? And so it's important that we're filling our vessels with things and energies that are going to make us feel full, guys. Make us feel happy and alive, right? Those things are so essential. I mean, if you're a younger person watching this, know that you have a lot of lifetime ahead of you, and you really, really should try to figure out how to enjoy it as much as possible, because before you know it, it has flown by, and you're past your midlife, which at 50, I'm well past my midlife, so I'm past that. And I'm to a point in my life that I realize that I have lived and experienced and been through so much that I feel like that I can bring these messages to people, right? I've experienced a lot of heartache. I really have. My father passed away of cancer when I was 5 years old. And my mother was 28 and a widow with 2 small girls, my sister and I. She was 7 and I was 5. It was very hard. It was a hard childhood. My earliest memories are of him with cancer and suffering from that illness before he ultimately passed away when I was 5 years old. So it was quite devastating for a little girl. For me, my sister, my mom, and then the story just really goes crazy from there. It really does. Let's just say, and I'm not asking for pity or anything like that. It's nothing like that, but I had a very rough childhood, which most of us Gen Xers did. And then on top of that, I'm not taking away from anybody that's not a Gen X. We all have our own paths, our own journeys, and our own life experiences. So please do not think that I'm saying just because you're not a Gen X that you did not have a hard childhood. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we, once again, I'm going back to, we all have our life experience to live in our own journeys, and I'm just explaining mine. So I graduated high school. I graduated in Indiana. That's basically where the majority of my life was spent early on. I was born and raised in Indiana for the most part. And so I was from a very rural, small farm community, and I was raised with very humble Midwest values. But there was a 2-year experience in between where I lived as a child in California. Right after my father passed away, my mother remarried, and then we moved to California 3 months after my dad passed. My mom has always had very troublesome mental issues, and obviously the death of my dad did not help. She did not make a lot of rational nor great decisions. So let's just say that she married a man the first night she met him, and I moved to Cali. And so, but it was a blessing in that sense, because at a very young age, it opened my eyes to different cultures and different ways of living besides the Indiana farm. And so my thing is since that happened to me so early on, I knew that there was so much more out there than what the farm had to offer and what Indiana had available. And so when I was a couple years after that, they moved back, and I'm like, what? Back to the farm? I was like around 7, 8 years old. And so then I finished being raised there, where I did graduate high school. During my high school years, when I was becoming a freshman, my parents did move to Georgia. So I did move with them for 2 years. So I did my freshman and sophomore years in Georgia. And then, which was horrible because kids are very mean, and I was always an overweight girl. As you can tell, I'm a bigger girl, and and so the kids were very mean, and they picked on me a lot. And that was the time when bullying was just like a way of life, and we obviously just need to learn to buck up and deal with it. And so I guess I did the best way I could. And so, yeah, in a way it was a blessing, because I've learned very much now as an older person not to really care about what people have to say. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Unless you're like somebody I really love and care about, like a really close person to me. You're entitled to your opinion, and I encourage it. However, I do not let it bother me. It's we're entitled to what we think, right? And so if you don't think highly of me, that's fine. You're entitled to that opinion. So it's fine. It's whatever. But yeah. So then I lived in the South for around 30 years. So I was in Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. I got married when I was around 27 and had my first child. And we were married for approximately 14 years before he passed away. He was an addict. He was. It's very hard for me to talk about, because I personally have never had an addiction problem. And so I was very young and naive when I met him. And I did not understand all the signs of what drug use was per se and what he was doing. And so I was already in so deep by the time I found it out. I was already expecting our first child. He had a really bad nervous breakdown. I mean, it's a long, I could go on. I mean, the video could just stretch forever. I'm not going to do that to you all, but just know that after 14 years, back in 2013, he passed away of an overdose. I woke up the day after our anniversary, where he had come home drunk. I thought he was drunk. It was more than that. He passed out and he never woke up. That was absolutely devastating. It was devastating to me, and it was devastating to our children, who were 12 and 9 at the time. So yeah, I was a single mother in a window at 39, and it was earth shattering. It was ground moving in the sense that I felt so lost and I felt so much guilt that it was just eating me up inside. Like it really, really did take me like 10 years to really admit a lot of things to myself and to others that I really needed to heal. So there was several years in the in-between time where I hurt myself a lot. Letting people use me, didn't think I deserved any better, didn't love myself. I felt so much guilt. It was just eating me up. And I put my efforts and my concentration and my beautiful energy into places that did not deserve it. And in that quest of doing that and not even realizing why I was doing it and what for, I really hurt my kids and people I loved and cared about. And I struggled with that for so long once I realized everything that I had let transpire. And so it has been a decade journey, honestly. Not only to heal all the things that happened from my childhood, that was just so devastating to me, all the way up until adulthood, all the way up until now. I mean, I feel like I'm doing a million times better, but you're always on your healing journey. And not only that, you're always on the process, or at least you should be, to become a better human and version of yourself in person. And that's ultimately what I have really been going for. I just want to be a better person. And the reason I'm here today, the reason I come on here and started my own YouTube page, my own Facebook page, and now I've just went to TikTok. The reason I'm doing this is because I literally have so much love and compassion and understanding for so many things through my life experience and all the things I've been through, that I feel like that I can really step forward and help other people with their journey and their own pains and hurts and suffering. And know that no matter what happens to you, you can and will get better if you want to. You can find the peace and solitude and release, and you can forgive yourself, you can forgive others, and you can find so much happiness in this world, even with all this chaos, even with everything that goes on, and sorrow and sadness and strife and the economy and all the things that are working so hard to tear us down. If you look for it, if you look for peace, if you look for things that bring you joy, happiness, it can be found, you guys. It's out there. It's in here. It's in here. Okay? And so I just want you guys to know I met a man 5 years ago. My husband, my Mike, my most beautiful blessing ever. I mean, he's just so wonderful. He's changed my whole world. It's just been amazing to be with somebody that's actually been here for me and wants the best for me. And it's not been all about what I can do for him. Which makes me want to do more for him than anybody else I've ever done for before, because of the fact that he's never asked for anything from me other than just to be myself and to heal. And he just thinks I'm just the most amazing thing, which is just amazing to me, because I've spent my whole life, it feels like, trying to make people love me and accept me for who I am, and not fix all their problems, and not to be their doormat or the person they used to just make themselves feel better. Right? I want to make people feel better, but I want to make people feel better by making them understand that the power to do that really lies in the person themselves. Nobody can give that to you. All I can do is come on here and try to guide you and help you understand different ways and different things and different thoughts and different patterns for you to change your brain. Okay? Perspective's so important. You change your brain, you change your heart, you change your world. Okay? Nobody can penetrate that. If you learned to live in the 5D and not the 3D, there is existence, right? When we are young and we don't know a whole lot, we're just existing and we're living in the 3D, right? We don't understand spirituality, we don't understand consciousness, we don't understand that we are the very fiber of everything, okay? Because it's all in here. It's all cord inside you. And so like all these outside influences that have come in, voices of friends, relatives, enemies, whatever it is, that tells us who we are, tells us what we can be, tells us what we can't be. And it starts to really play on our mind and our own self-consciousness that makes us believe what they say. And in reality, it's just not true. You are who you know yourself to be, right? Are you striving to be a better person? Are you striving to help those who can't help themselves without being used? Are you setting your boundaries in place to help people without being used? You know, are you, because it all comes from here. It does. It's a personal journey. It's personal. Nobody can give this to you. You can be around somebody that's so loving and so happy and gives you the world and still be the most miserable person on the planet because you haven't fixed what needs to be fixed inside yourself, right? And so this year, I was working for about a half a year at I was working at a mental health clinic where I was doing residential work, working with addicts. And it was the first time in 10 years I was able to stand up and tell my truth with honesty. I literally spoke from my throat. I spoke my truth. And by speaking my truth, my throat chakra cleared, and so much of the guilt, anger, shame that wasn't mine because I couldn't fix him. As much as I tried for 14 years, I couldn't fix him, and he ended up dying from it. And I felt so much shame and so much guilt. I blame myself, and it wasn't my blame nor my shame to carry. But it really, really took me doing this job and being around other people that had these issues and knowing and finally figuring out and knowing that it really wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. I did everything I could. It was something that he had to do to fix himself, and he just couldn't, and he succumbed from it. And it cost me and his kids, right? And so by doing so, by me working there and opening up and sharing my truth, it healed me. It healed me. And what was so amazing was that it helped heal others. So like the people that I met, and by me opening up and me telling my story, my journey, right? I actually was able to help others. And for the first time in 10 years, and through all the heartache and all the things I had been through, it all suddenly made sense. I mean, it was a horrible waste, what he done, that he lost his life at 41. But at the same time, it let me know that it just wasn't my fault, you guys. And so if you've been sticking around this far and you have listened to almost 25 minutes of my ramblings of everything I've been through. And this only skims the bucket. I mean, I got a whole 50 years to try to fit in there, right? And so currently, right now, as we speak, I am literally living in a hotel room in Casper, Wyoming with my husband and my dog. I'm damn near close to homeless with this economy and everything, the way everything's worked, right? So I'm just trying a different path, you guys. I mean, it can't get no worse than where I'm at. So I started my own YouTube channel. Here I am. And I'm going to keep coming to you guys with all kinds of tricks on beauty and health and mental health, where we'll be discussing vibes and frequencies and just how for us to survive and continue to make it in this crazy ass world, right? And make it with kind hearts and generous souls, and leave this world knowing that while we were here, we were good, we were kind, we did what we could where we could, right? And know that you are an awesome person, you are valuable, you are loved. In my world, you all are my precious pearls, and I love you guys so much. And so if you haven't subscribed already, if you would please just subscribe. I would really love for you to keep coming by and hearing what I have to say, and just know that you guys are great, okay? And I love you. You all take care. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.